So we've been home for just under 24 hours, and I already had to spend half the day at urgent care because Theo and Joey have strep. Theo has strep for sure, tested positive. Joey was starting to show some signs that he might get it, but did not test positive, so they were treating him anyways. So tomorrow, Grandma's coming down to spend the day with Theo since he was positive, and Joey should be fine since he already is on antibiotics and never spiked a fever or anything. They're just treating them both. So that was my day. That and hanging out with the kids and cleaning out the car and getting things settled and recap I guess the trip. It was really nice to be with my best friend and her wonderful, amazing, marvelous children. I had a hard time in the beginning because I was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years, for about 5 years, and I lived the life that I just got to like go jump into again and experience for 5 days. Being home with kids, being home with one of my friends. I'm very social, so almost every single day, that I spent as a stay-at-home mom, most of them I spent with people, like with my friends, because that's just the person I am. That was the best way I felt to parent, to do it, to survive it. So I socialized a lot, I took my friends' kids a lot, and I babysat a lot. I always laughed and said, because of course I haven't been a stay-at-home mom with 4, just 3 really. But I'd always say, I already have 3, what's 1 more, what's 2 more, I would take more, it would be fine. I meant kids to entertain my kids. And add on the fact that like we were in Texas, which is kind of like better weather than Wisconsin. Wisconsin is freezing, and there's no snow there. So we got outside almost every day for a few hours, and it reminded me of Hawaii and how we could get outside all the time and play outside and get the sun when it was 70 on 2 days while we were there. And I had a really emotional moment, a kind of a breakdown about that was my life. I lived it. And I really did love my life. I loved being a stay-at-home mom with going to school, and eventually going back to work was like in the cards, but like I liked being a stay-at-home mom. I liked being with my kids. I liked getting to kind of designate our time how we saw fit and spend time with friends and socialize and have this well-rounded experience with it all and be there for my kids. So it was kind of sad because I had to sacrifice all of that to make the choice that I made. That was still a better option, but harder. It was more, I have to sacrifice a lot of myself now to do what I felt was best. And so it was really sad. And I also had some flashbacks to certain things that had happened, and life was just kind of hard at first. And it made me miss it. Like, the ability to just go for a walk with my kids in the middle of the day and go to a park and play for a few hours and be in the sun, and like have that. I don't know, it was hard to like live it again and see all of that, and everything's changed now, and this is gonna be a beautiful life that I'm building with my 2 hands, and I'm doing it. It's just hard because I built that life as well, and I had to give it up. I'm kind of having these moments, and that didn't help it, that I'm like not really happy right now, and I had to talk myself into this concept. I thought that if I wasn't happy, that meant that I made the wrong choice, but I didn't, and I can still stand by that. This life is hard, being a single parent, being a single mom of 4 kids, moving, changing life, plans, goals. It's really lonely and exhausting, and yeah, it's been really hard. So, and the last month after losing the job and having everything just made it a lot harder. So I just had a really rough week with it, but I loved being with Bridget and I loved being with the kids, and I wish I could be with them all the time. It made me want to move to Texas just to be closer, but they're not hopefully going to be there in a year or 2 after her husband gets out of school, and hopefully they'll move to a place that they want to be more. But it did make me wish I was close to her still, and miss her and her kids a lot, and that life a bit, and all of that. So, but we had fun. We went to Austin one day, and I got to see a really, really good friend of mine and eat dinner with her and get Mexican food, and we went to this thing called the Thinkery in Austin. If you go to Austin, Texas, and you have kids, if you don't have kids, you should still check it out. It's kind of expensive if you don't have kids to experience it with, but it was really fun. We spent like 3 hours there, 4 hours. It was so fun. The kids had a blast, kept them entertained. It's a really cool place to go. So the Thinkery, definitely, it's their children's museum pretty much. Austin was so cool. I would go back to Austin in a heartbeat and experience more of it. It was really a cool city. We drove through Fort Worth coming down and then through Dallas going back up. And when I went through Dallas too, Dallas is beautiful. I did not even realize how beautiful it was. I like road trips a lot. It was hard with 4 kids, and there were a couple moments where I screamed into a steering wheel because I was so frustrated with the whining. I did better coming up because I had had all that like soul recharging with Bridget, but it was not horrible. We made it almost coming all the way up without getting out of the car. We did pretty good timing things right and whatever. Like only getting out of the car when we got to the places we were going. But we got to see my best friend Josh on the way up. We got to see Mackenzie and her family and spend a day with them. And I got to see a lot of people along the way. And it was exhausting. And I wish I had a little more money to spend on it so I could get people things, but I didn't have the money for it. The gas was subpar. We didn't have to pay for a hotel room because we had enough people along the way to stay with. It was fun. And food, I packed a ton of snacks. I went to Costco before we left and took snacks, and then coming back up, I just brought more snacks, and I think we ate out not until we got past Kansas City coming up because I wanted barbecue, and I did pretty good all week. It was a really great week. It was such a fun road trip. The kids never touched an iPad. I got asked this multiple times. How did I survive it? Did the kids have iPads the whole time to watch movies to keep them entertained? No. We didn't take a single piece of technology for them. They had Barbie dolls, cars, dinosaurs. They had sticker books. They had coloring books. They had blankets and pillows. My car is a fucking disaster. I was going to clean it more today, but the strep thing kind of threw me. I got everything out of it but the garbage. And the pack and play. But it's a disaster because they had snacks and stuff and they just kind of threw things around and had fun and whatever, but not a single thing of technology was touched. They didn't need iPads, they didn't whatever. They talked about things. They complained, Mom, this is taking a long time and we're going to get there, Mom, or whatever, but they did pretty good. And they didn't have any technology at all. They didn't have any special boards I made them. They literally took some toys that they love. There was a moment where they literally played hide and seek forever with their pillows and blankets. They built forts in the car, with the pillows and blankets. And they were strapped in their car seats the whole time. And Zoe, when she would start to get mad, Angie would play with her. She held her own bottles pretty much. And so I could make her a bottle and hand it to her, and she would take her bottle. I was not too bad. Angie was the hardest one for me to reach. I could literally throw snacks if I needed to Joey, and he would hand them to Theo. We saw things. Windmills, of course, are cool, and I've never been through Oklahoma or Kansas, so I got to see both of those states because you drive through so much of it. I didn't realize how pretty Oklahoma can be in certain areas, so that was kind of cool. Kansas, you enter Kansas and you're like, this is Kansas, all right. This is exactly how I imagine Kansas to look. Texas was surprising in certain areas too. Texas, of course, is forever. We went through Illinois coming back, but we went down through Iowa and into Missouri. Coming up, we went through Illinois. It was not a bad trip, and I had fun, and I kind of look forward to doing another one day. Maybe in 6 months to a year we'll find another cool place to go. Yeah, it was a fun trip. I was gonna talk about other stuff too, but the trip was good, and I don't regret a single second of it. I wish I had taken 2 weeks to be with her, but I thought we would be sick of each other by Friday, and instead we've grown so much over the last 3 years of knowing each other that every time there would be an issue, we would work through it. So that was cool. Our friendship really grew from it. So, and I miss her kids. I got to bond with them a bit, which was really lovely. And she got to bond with my babies, and our babies bonded. Oh my gosh, her oldest, Connor, and Zoe are the cutest things ever. God, they were so cute together. It was a good time. So it was a 17-hour trip. Actually, it was probably 18 or 19, give or take. One way. So we spent 36 hours maybe in a car in the last week. Tomorrow, the 3 littlest will go back to daycare. I'll go to work. Theo will stay home with Grandma. I'm excited to go back to the gym. I've gained like 3 or 4 pounds for sure. Didn't, and then I ate all this barbecue on the last 2 or 3 days. I had fun. So, highly recommend road trips. If you don't like them, that's fine, but I highly recommend it. It was good for the soul. It really taught me some things, and it was valuable for me, for everything else. So, yeah. I might lean towards doing some more controversial topics later this week. I haven't done videos a ton because I've been so busy, but I'm going to try to work on that. And I love you guys, and you're fantastic, and have a good night.